What you said I was about to break down?
You was about to talk about how black people waste their time when it
Look at
comes
this
to
window.
topics like justice.
Yeah. Whenever you see something with justice and black people behind it, usually black people, their fight is in the wrong place. For one thing, how would I say?
How's it in the wrong place?
We tend to take blame off of ourselves for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's always a reason why we can't get ahead. It's always somebody else is doing something that's right. It's always somebody else that's in control of our destiny. And, you know, that somebody's not allowing us to do this, that, and the third. But, classic example, like I be hearing things with housing, the housing authority, the people in housing, and it just bugs me out every time the residents speak of the residents' rights. I'd be like, really, there is no rights. Whatever they say goes. You know what I'm saying? And you really don't have much of an argument. They put y'all in these little positions, things of that nature, to give y'all some sense that, you know, you're making a difference. But most of the big deals and things of that nature that goes on with them, by the time y'all get in to have any say in it, the deal is done. And they just entertain y'all for a little while, and after they finish entertaining you, like, it'd be some reason why it still went opposite of what y'all wanted done anyway. So the fight isn't with these people who are in control of your destinies. The fight should be internal, or that's where it needs to be placed, whereby we're taking accountability for ourselves. We have to have a understanding of how group economics works. Some things as simple as just the fact that you have large numbers of people investing in one location, or you know, bringing resources to one centralized unit or group or whatever you want to say. Just that alone gives you bargaining power. You know what I'm saying? Like healthcare. Like when you ask black people,
Obamacare.
what did Obama do for black people? That's their go-to answer. He gave us free healthcare. I mean, but the thing is, that's still putting the United States government in a position that it was never set up to be in, whereby it's in a position of taking care of the citizens. Never was set up or meant to be that way. The idea is to begin to take burden off of government and slowly take on responsibility for yourselves. So, for example, if you got 5,000 people who are a member of one organization, now when you go to the insurance company, the healthcare providers, you're going with a group of 5,000 people. So the rates are going to drop. You see what I'm saying? So it becomes your ability to bargain inside of a specific network for the benefit of the whole. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you also have to be establishing some type of economy, independent and separate from outside sources. So a lot of times when I talk about, you know, building funding and things of that nature, and like a lot of my niggas be like, yo, man, you been talking about this for years. Yeah, but y'all don't put in. You know what I'm saying? Man, they got programs for that. No, that's the whole idea here, is that one thing that when we go to talk to any politician, we can guarantee you that we will not be going to these politicians complaining about anything going on with our kids and none of that and shit. Like, we're going to be coming to politicians with ideas on how to, do business with the community. We want to have a vested interest in our city. You know what I'm saying? And the only way to have a vested interest is to start investing in the city. You know what I'm saying? Start obtaining hard, tangible assets that never fall to a zero balance. Real estate, fine arts, precious metals, things of those natures, But when we as a community as a whole have ownership or control over it, that gives the community itself a bargaining tool to go out and engage in commerce with the rest of the world, which then in turn brings opportunities to the people of the community. But when you're dealing with people who can't see further than, hey, if I put $100 in, how fast do I get my money back with something on top of it? This ain't about that. This is about a generation saying, hold up, man, stop this, man. We tired of living like this. And we don't want no more of our people to have to live like this. The only way to do that is one generation has to be a sacrificial generation, whereby this generation is taking the sacrifices needed so that the following generations can inherit the wealth. I know this is not a job for everybody. You know what I'm saying? This is why, like, when I say things like there are no men in our community, because the things that happen with our youth and just the things that goes on in our community in general does not happen in the presence of men. Like, you get backlash, but this stuff is true. You know what I'm saying? Like the adult males around here, like, they don't even want to have a conversation on something else that can be done. They revert directly to, oh, the white man, this, that, and the third. It's always an excuse. This is why I tell these young cats, yo, don't listen to these niggas that's over 45 out here. They're going to keep on preaching to you that you're a victim. You know what I mean? Totally suppressing their creative minds. Oh, man, you need to go get a job. Yo, me and my son have never, ever, ever in life had a conversation about him going and filling out a job application and seeking employment from someplace else outside of this family. Never have we had such a conversation. So my son don't know nothing about going and looking for no jobs, things of that nature, because this is embedded in him already. I'm not saying there's something wrong with people who encourage that in their children, but at the same time, I believe that we have to start encouraging the creative process or the creative thought process in our youth so that they're able to be creative and devote their time to themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Be the entrepreneurs.
Like, the average person is out here sacrificing 40, 60, 80 hours in a week for somebody else just to be able to have the luxuries and things that they need to provide for their own family. When if we are actually operating and working as a family should actually be functioning, which is a family is a business. That's how this system works. Everything in the system is about commerce. And it's all 100% voluntary as well. So there's no reason to complain. Like, you don't have to live inside of a city. You don't have to use Federal Reserve notes. You know what I mean? You could perfectly go find some land somewhere, live off the grid. But you're not going to have access to plumbing, electricity, things of that nature unless you produce it for yourselves. So everything is 100% voluntary within that system. But you have to understand how to separate the two. It's like separating business from personal, things of that nature. But by operating in group economics, you begin to operate and function how a commercial sector such as this one that we live in, and we also live inside of a debt wealth society. All money is created off of debt. So we have to learn how to function. it's actually, there's nothing wrong with the average person. You know what I mean? There's no good, bad, right, or wrong. The thing is, the way that the average person thinks is not, it's not conclusive to being competent inside of this system. That's why so many of our people are running around so angry. Like, this is why we snap at the drop of a dime. Everybody mad because nobody doing what they want to do on the real. Like you gotta get up, go bust your ass for somebody else to get rich and shit, and you still be struggling, things of that nature. Yeah, I understand all of that. You know what I mean? But I got to a point in life where I was like, man, look, I'm the only one that's gonna be in total dominant control over my labor and things of that nature. Like, fuck that. But that's where it starts at. It starts with organization. You have to have one centralized location operating in trust for the benefit of the community at large. You know what I'm saying? Like every community group has its own personal agenda and things of that nature, great, as it should. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking nobody for any, endeavors that they embark upon that they feel is for the good of the community, because at the end of the day, it's all about intention. You know what I'm saying? I can't say if what you're doing is good, bad, right, or wrong and shit. That's inside of you. You know your intentions on why you do things of that nature. Like, is you getting out here and putting work in for the community betterment at large, or are you out here so that you could get what you get out of it? Now, in most cases, I'm gonna be honest, what you have is a lot of poverty pimping going on. You know what I'm saying? Like poverty pimping is like, you got cats who out here, they raising funds, they doing this, that, and the third in the community, but nothing that they're doing is ever actually going to amount to any solutions happening. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's ever going to get resolved from these things. Why? Because their livelihood depends on them complaining and doing things like that about what's going on in the community. So they'll never actually do anything that's actually going to be solid, anything that can be repeated, something that could be held and withstand the passage of time, that could get passed down generation after generation, that's fully protected from taxing and the greedy people who want to sue for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to learn how to be competent inside of our financial dealings. Because once you have that centralized location, you have to elect people to be in charge of this economy. You know what I'm saying? And from what we can clearly see, the leadership in the community since 1968, since the civil rights movement, like there's a steady decline in the quality of life in the community. But yet, we'll have these awards dinners in the hood and things of that nature. We be praising people and stuff like that. And these people be doing good, and we all get to see them do good, and we applaud them and things of that nature. But however, at this point, like, how do they mentor that same lifestyle down? Because the leadership that we have now comes right behind them with the same shit. Most of the money they get, it goes out into paying some white people inside of the Democratic Party to operate as what they call consultants. Yo, these white people just run through this hood all day long, my nigga. All day long, collecting checks from all these little groups and organizations. These crackers make a living doing this shit.
Giving the money right back.
You know what I'm saying? As they're teaching them how to operate the non-profits. That's the game. The Democratic Party, they push victimhood on our people to the point it's ridiculous. And that's anything in politics. This is why we don't get nowhere in politics, is because all we do is vote. Now, if we had such a thing as the surety fund going, whereby we're investing in properties as a community at large in the community. Now we're actually doing business with the city because we have a vested interest. Now they have to negotiate and listen to us and come to our needs and things of that nature because we're in the loop of support of the city's financial stability at large. But when all we do is vote, the only thing we doing is talking. So then the only thing we could do is complain. And then they ignore us and buy us until it's time to vote again.
Every 4 years.
And then like these cats, they be excellent with public speaking and things of that nature. Cause like the way they glide past questions and the people accept it. See, the leadership turns back around and tells us to accept it. This is what I mean about our leadership. We don't really have leadership because we don't pay nobody to do nothing. So the people from our hood, they get you get flipped. This is hoods across the globe. Bottom line, people get into these positions in politics and shit, and then what they do is instead of them going out to the other people or the people that we supposed to be negotiating with, things of that nature, instead of them going to them with our needs, they come back to us and convince us that what we're getting is good. You see what I'm saying? The nonsense. They don't even address our issues and shit. Why? Because these be the people that done pulled them in, showed them how to make a little bit of money while looking like you doing something. And then the next thing you know, people gonna go where the money at. And it becomes actually, I understand how they get flipped because it's the people in the hood that you're trying to help in the beginning. Because I see a lot of motherfuckers going with good intentions and shit. And then the next thing I know, they flipped. I'll be like, oh shit, these niggas ain't for the hood no more. You know? But it's going to happen that way because once you start being able to earn and do for yourself, and then you see that the people that you're trying to help is the ones that's making it harder for you to help them. They even backstabbing you and this, that, and the third trying to pull you down. You be like, you know what, fuck it. So I understand, you know what I mean? Like I said, it ain't no good, bad, right, or wrong here. Things just is what it is. So when I'm speaking, I'm just being point blank. So a lot of times it sounds harsh. And that's why a lot of times it's hard to get a real conversation going amongst men, because when you start talking about manhood and things of that nature, a lot of things that you say is going to be very offensive, because when you take a motherfucker and flip them inside out and show them they self, in most cases, the average motherfucker is not happy with what they see. So what's their default program is to attack the motherfucker that just said something.
Fight or flight.
You know what I mean? So like even when I'm not directing anything to anybody directly and shit, like when we talk about manhood and shit, that's why the man up discussion group is dope, because you know you get to say what you want there. You know what I mean? The only thing is you're accountable for the things that you say. It's like with me, I don't ask that anybody subscribes to the things that I believe, or just that and the third, but you know what I mean, I'm gonna speak my voice and voice my opinion, you know.